Well, good morning and welcome to today's Thursday Thought. There are some days when I like to take the long way into the office. Most of those days, I'll turn to the south on Mays Road instead of to the north toward Kellogg as I exit our neighborhood, and I'll drive out toward what passes anyway for the rural areas of Sedgwick County. I say what passes for the rural area because there aren't a lot of places left in the county where you can go and not see a house or some kind of development within your field of vision. One also is going to find several paved roads in the county. That's something not often seen in the genuinely rural areas of Kansas. Well, today was one of those days. I went south on Mays Road and went on past K42 and turned left on 47th Street South. I was heading to South Broadway where I'd make my entrance into the city and come on into work. Now, I hadn't traveled 47th Street into Broadway for quite some time, so I'd forgotten and I didn't realize that it dead-ended at the big ditch. I had to turn around and go back and then go on south to 55th, where I crossed the ditch and came into Broadway and then started into the city. Well, somewhere between 31st Street South and Pawnee, there's a noticeable change in what one sees when driving South Broadway. That change lasts at least until crossing under Kellogg into the downtown business district. The area becomes a place where one sees a number of folks who, in all probability, either have no place to call home, are living day to day in one of the numerous motels in that area, and they're looking for any way they can find to survive that particular day. One sees men carrying large backpacks as they walk from who knows where to who knows where else. The entirety of their earthly possessions is probably in that backpack. Women are sitting on curbs waiting for whatever or whoever may come their way. There's a man over there picking through a dumpster that's beside a cafe. A couple of guys are on bicycles burdened down with sacks and backpacks. There's a couple that's walking out of a motel parking lot onto the street, onto the sidewalk beside the street. There's a man that crosses the street in front of me as I'm driving north on Broadway, forces me to slow down and let him pass. He seems oblivious to any traffic that's around him. There are inexpensive motels, numerous, along with the no trespassing signs that you see just everywhere down that way. Well, most of the people that I see in that neighborhood are in need of a shave, a shower, clean clothes, dental work, or some combination thereof. Many, if I knew their age, would look years older than their chronological age. Many, if I just knew, would not have government identification on them. Most all would not have a job. Many would be substance users. Many probably get what little money they have through some kind of illicit or illegal means. And many of those that I saw could really benefit from decent mental health care. Yet these folks may be some of the more fortunate ones among those in the homeless and near homeless community. Several of them can somehow get enough cash during the day that they can afford a motel room for the night, or at least they can pay half of the bill and room in with somebody else. They may well have friends in the area who can partner with them to help keep away danger and thieves at night. And food's usually available, at least at times. But there are some in the homeless community who are so mentally ill or so tripped out on drugs that they can't think well enough to find a place inside for the night. Their behavior is sometimes so bizarre that no one else will befriend them and no one will associate with them. They may go days without food because they're so strung out, or they're suffering a mental health crisis to the point that they can't function even for the basic necessities. Well, if you live in the Wichita area and you haven't driven South Broadway for a while, please do so at your earliest convenience. And look around as you go down the street. Notice those who are otherwise not noticed by polite society. Think about the fact that these people all have a story. They all have had, and many still have, family somewhere. Their main goal each day is survival, whatever that looks like for them. 1 hour follows another, 1 day follows another, 1 month follows another. For them, it's an endless entanglement in the web of defeat and isolation that's been spun largely by the upper classes. We ourselves have created this issue. As a society, we have marginalized, we've ignored, and we've vilified those who didn't measure up to our middle and upper class standards. Even more importantly, we've failed to heed the words of the great teacher of some 2,000 years ago, when he said that we are to, first of all, love God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then, just like that command, to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. Corollaries to those teachings are the golden rule: do to others as you'd like others to do to you. And then there's a host of other teachings that speak of sharing with those who don't have, befriending the friendless, having compassion on the less fortunate, and seeing all people as children of God worthy of dignity and respect. Greed and self-centeredness is front and center in our society, except we don't call it that. We call it ambition and drive, and we celebrate it. Our culture runs on it, feeds off of it. And in so doing, we push aside and marginalize those who don't fit into our cultural box. Well, I can't do everything, but I can do something. I can abide by the golden rule. I can learn what it means to love my neighbor. I can develop compassion for others. I can change my attitude and my actions. I can make a difference. And you can too. Blessings.